As the episode begins, Rarity gets a surprise visit from her parents, and why is her mom wearing pants? Okay, that didn't sound right, but when you consider how the characters normally dress, this kind of thing stands out. Anyway, they're going out of town for a week, and so they're leaving Rarity in charge of Sweetie Belle. In the days that follow, however, the two begin to clash. Sweetie Belle is a curious kid who wants to learn new things and be helpful, but Rarity is a young adult trying to run her own business, and therefore she has her own priorities to worry about. Most of the conflict arises from Rarity having her own set of rules that Sweetie Belle just isn't familiar with, combined with Rarity being too preoccupied to consider Sweetie Belle's needs at all, and it eventually gets to a point where Sweetie Belle can only try to stay out of the way, and she can't even manage to do that properly. Finally, fed up with only being yelled at or ignored, Sweetie Belle runs away to Sweet Apple Acres, where the Apple family is preparing to host the Sisterhooves Social, an annual competition where older and younger sisters team up to participate in a series of challenges all connected through a giant obstacle course. Sweetie Belle had already brought this up earlier as a way to spend time with Rarity, but of course Rarity rejected the idea since she just doesn't do potentially messy physical challenges. During their time apart, however, Rarity comes to realize that Sweetie Belle's mistakes weren't the end of the world as she had made them out to be, and in her cheesiest performance this side of the William Shatner School of Acting, declares that she wants her sister back. Meanwhile, Sweetie Belle has decided that she also wants a sister, just one that isn't as selfish as Rarity. After watching the vastly different dynamic between Apple Bloom and her big sister Applejack, Sweetie Belle's just about ready to move on to the farm. Applejack does her best to keep things from getting out of control, and privately tells Rarity that, in her experience, the key to keeping a family happy and well-adjusted is in compromising and getting everyone involved equally. Don't neglect your own needs, but also remember to make time for those around you. To which Rarity replies, "Oh yeah, I know all about compromise. I do whatever I want and what's-her-name tags along. Sometimes, when I feel like it." This is gonna take a while. The next day at the Sisterhooves Social, Apple Bloom decides to cheer up her friend by letting her borrow Applejack for the day so she can participate. Early on, Applejack falls into a mud hole and puts in some blue contact lenses, but then she and Sweetie Belle finish the competition, and even though they don't win, Sweetie Belle is still happy to be a part of someone's family for the day. But wait a minute! Those weren't contact lenses at all! It turns out that Rarity and Applejack switched places at the mud hole, so the two actual sisters ended up doing the whole event together. And in the end, Rarity and Sweetie Belle make up, and their relationship becomes much stronger as they both learn to be a little more flexible with each other. Though mostly Rarity. This episode gives us a much closer look at the family dynamic, both for Rarity and Sweetie Belle and for the Apple family. Despite the negative tone throughout most of the episode, the entire time that Rarity and Sweetie Belle are fighting feels natural and it's consistent with their personalities. I really appreciate how both of their perspectives make sense, even if Rarity is acting like too much of a control freak. And even though Sweetie Belle's complaining does get annoying at times, her frustration is understandable. She wants to be a good kid, but she isn't being given any opportunities or any constructive guidance at all. In fact, given all the conflicting messages that she gets from her family, her behavior in season 1 actually makes a lot more sense now. How she can never seem to focus on anything or figure out what her true talent is, or why she's so shy about singing in front of a large audience. Though perhaps the most surprising thing of all is that despite this episode primarily focusing on Sweetie Belle, it's actually Applejack who really shines here the most. However, considering that this is a family-focused episode that features two of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, I have to ask, where the hell is Scootaloo? Does she have a family? Is she living in a gutter somewhere? Is she ever going to get her own episode to answer any of this? I know, the episode isn't really about Scootaloo, but with the way everything is set up, her absence really is noticeable, to the point that it's actually kind of distracting. Despite that though, this was another really strong episode. Sisterhooves Social gets a 9 out of 10.